Hey guys, welcome. Today we are going to dive in and we're going to be looking at the APA workshop. Now I know a lot of you have been working on this and trying your best to do it, and that's perfect. And some of you haven't tried it all, and that's something as well. But now we have the APA workshop. It's been a couple weeks throughout the semester, so now I want to make sure you're learning how to do this, because by the time we get to your final paper and you're submitting your outlines that actually need to have references, you need to know how to do this. Again, I don't do this at the very beginning of the semester because I don't want to overwhelm you, so I do it around this time so you've already have your feet down and you can start preparing for when you're actually going to meet the site and use APA so you're not plagiarizing like we talked about in this week's lesson as well with the listening and ethics. Because if you do not cite correctly and you do not use APA correctly or another form of citation that each class wants depending on the professor, then it's actually plagiarizing, and that's against the law, and you can get kicked out of the university, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to teach you how to do APA. Here we go. Now first, basic APA. These are the items that you need to do APA correctly. 12-point font, Times New Roman, double space, 1-inch margin all the way around. Now in the other video, I show you how to do all of this. So you can look and I give you tricks to the trade of how to use Microsoft Word to actually adjust these and do all of that. Okay, so again, 12-point font, Times New Roman, double space, 1-inch margin all the way around. Now moving on to headers. In APA, you don't ever use footers. If you're using footers, more than likely you're using something such as Chicago. I've used Chicago before. It's a great way to do it. I believe APA is an easier way to learn, and then once you know APA, you can dive into Chicago as well. So, with APA, we do not use footers, but we use headers. So on the very first page, what you need is you're going to have a header in the very top corner, okay? And with that, you're going to, so you're going to have a paper right here. So your header is going to be right up here on the title page, okay? So you have your paper, header is going to be right here on the title page. So with that, you want to make sure that it says the words running head and then in all caps a short version of your title. An example is for my master's thesis and what I'm working on to get published is something called Young Boys in Disney, a qualitative study on parents' perspective of Disney's media on their young sons. Okay? I'm not going to put that whole thing in my header, so all I put is the words running head, Young Boys in Disney. And the words Young Boys in Disney are in all caps. And then in the top right hand corner for the title page, we do not have anything. Now as we move on, every other page is going to have, just like this where it has running head and then the title in all caps, you're going to have just like that, but you will not have the words running head. It's just the title in all caps right up here. And then over here, you're going to have your last name and the page number. Okay? Now there's a way to do this, and a lot of people will go in and they'll have the page number. Realize, with this, you're going to have a different first page, which in Microsoft Word you can do that, than every other page. You're going to want to add a page number because every page that you have is going to have this exact same wording. So you need to insert page number. I would recommend inserting page number first, but once you insert page number, then you just go down and it will automatically do it for you. So you don't have to go your last name 2, because that means it's going to be your last name page 2 for every page, even if it's hundreds of pages long. Okay? Now moving on to the next one, your title page should look something like this and have all of these. So again, here's your paper. So with your paper, you're going to then have your title about right here. And again, your title page is going to have running head up here. And then right down here, you're going to have your name here, and then the class's name, and then the date, and then the teacher's name. Okay? So this is how you will lay it out. Okay? Then you're going to have an abstract. You will not do an abstract for basically any of your papers except for your final paper for this class. That's the only time you're going to need an abstract. Okay, but an abstract is basically a summary. So think of a book. The back of the book, it has the summary. That's what an abstract is, but it's at the very front, right after your title page. The word abstract is centered in the center of the page, and it's going to be a short summary, and you're not going to tab the paragraph like you normally do. And at the very end, you're going to have the words that say keywords, and then you're going to have a colon, and then you're going to have 3 keywords, 3 to 5. Okay, so my keywords for my master's thesis was Disney, social learning theory, media, males, and I think that's it. Okay? Now, you have a main title, which for mine was the Unemployment Disney Qualitative Study, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have a main title, and then you're going to have a header, second header, and a third header. You do not have to use all headers. Okay? Most of your papers you do, you're not going to have all three headers for anything within this class. But for other classes, you might. So I'm teaching you how to do it now just to help you out for the future. You might have heading 1 and heading 2, but most of the time you won't ever use heading 3. Okay? But make sure you look at this and how to do that. You might not even have any headings. You do not have to use all headings. Okay? Again, you do not have to use all headings. A lot of people try to do all the headings and try to do that. And then what a lot of people do is they don't change the words. They keep it heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. That's not how you do it. You have to change the words to the heading. What I tell people is with this, I normally have your main title, and your heading 1 is going to be centered, not bolded, which we'll go over it on the other video. You can see exactly how it looks. Heading 2 will be on the left-hand side bolded, and the heading 3 is going to be a part of the tab, the first part of the paragraph, bolded with a period at the end. Now, what you're going to do with the headings is think of an upside-down pyramid. Okay? If you have an idea such as, we're going to do something as media, because we've been talking about that, that's a big part. And then I'm going to narrow it down a little bit more to Disney. Okay? And let's say Pixar, because Disney owns Pixar. So, right there, this would be an example of heading 1, heading 2 would be Disney, and heading 3 would be Pixar. Because Pixar fits under Disney, which we're going to be talking about Disney's media, which goes up within that. Now if I want to switch gears to do Nickelodeon, but I'm talking about Nickelodeon's media, I'll pop over here and do Nickelodeon. Okay? And we're still talking about media, so we're not going to do heading 1 again, because Nickelodeon is going to be heading 2, which still fits along with media, which is heading 1. But all of a sudden, if I want to switch over to books, I might come over here, and I might do something like this. Oops, books. 3 O's. Books. Books has nothing to do with media, how I'm writing or how I'm laying out. So now books is going to be heading 1. Make sense? Again, you do not have to use all headings. You don't even have to use any of the headings. Headings are there to make your paper neater. If your paper is only a paragraph long, then you're not going to really use any headings. But if it's a page or 2 long, you might use 1 to 2 headings. Okay? Now, for your reference page, I have uploaded a paper that talks about the reference page, so make sure you see how to do that and how to have all the references. A big thing is make sure you have them doing the hanging indent from 1 inch margin and the hanging indent. Okay, like that. So make sure you have all of those correctly laid out. Okay, now citing references, this is how you cite it. You also need to look at how to cite everything. Purdue OWL can really help with that, but I give you examples right here. So you're going to need to do, writing a paper, you're going to do in-text citation along with a reference. So the in-text citation will lead you to the reference page. So the reference page that we just talked about, when you're writing something, you might say, according to Hubbard. That means they can go and find the word Hubbard and then go and look for it. Okay? And the page I have up there gives you all different types of, the uploaded page, I give you all different types of in-text citation. So, if it's following the sentence, you're going to have the sentence here, and then you're going to have parentheses, then you're going to have the citation along with the year, okay, and then period. So it's going to be the person's last name, and then the year of publication, and then a period. Okay? That's if you're paraphrasing. If you're quoting, that's when you're going to then add, comma, a page number. Okay? And that's all right here. Okay? And lay it out in this as well. So you only give a page number if you have a quote. If you're quoting something and it doesn't have a page number, you then will give a paragraph number. So count the paragraphs. Maybe you have to give some sort of where that is, because paraphrasing is just an idea. We know that idea is within that publication. We know that person gave the idea. You're giving credit to where credit's due. But if you're quoting, we need to know those exact words and where we can find those exact words. Hence why you give us the page number or the paragraph number. Okay? Now, here are some examples. So, as you know, I love minions. So minions are found to be yellow. Hubbard, 2017. Okay, so this is my last name. I'm going to, this is my idea, it's what I'm saying. Okay, 2017. Or you can say, according to Hubbard, if you say that, then you gotta put the year right after. Minions are found to be yellow. But realize, if I'm reading this first one, minions are found to be yellow, and then in parentheses, Hubbard 2017, I don't read, minions are found to be yellow, Hubbard 2017. I'm going to read, minions are found to be yellow, and as well as cute and fluffy, blah, blah, blah. Okay? You don't read that. So this one, I'm actually having it in my sentence with the last name. So I would read it, according to Hubbard, minions are found to be yellow. I don't say, according to Hubbard, 2017, minions are found to be yellow. So the parentheses for the citation, as you read, you don't read those words. But if you're saying, oh, who said that, or whose idea was that, you can look here and then go to the reference page and find exactly where it is. And then finally, oh, no, thought I gave you a page number. Okay? So, for the citation page, you need to make sure you're going to do out. I also give you examples how to do that. I laid out. Do not use citation machine. I will know if you use it. A few of you have already done that. I already know that if you use it. I haven't docked you points because we haven't went over this. But make sure you don't use citation machine or an online citation machine like that. Citation machines are great when you are using to gather the information. So I always plug in my website or whatever into the citation machine, but then I format it the correct way because they don't update. APA updates and they don't update. Because once, what happens, especially a lot in libraries or JSTOR or online scholarly places, once they are published, so if they're published in 2000, they're going to have the correct APA format. But if APA changes, they're not going to go back and change all their publications because that's going to take them forever to figure out everything that needs to be changed. So that's why it's great to find the information and piece it together according to APA citation. You do not piece it together, do not copy and paste because that's not piecing it together and they give you a lot of excess information you do not need. Okay? Now appendix, you won't ever need this unless you are having appendix. So appendix you don't need. It's not important to your paper. If they're taken out, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're saying, oh, if you look at the image or the table or anything like that, that's when you put an appendix. So each table will be its own page, its own appendix, or each picture, or each image. And you say, if you look at the image in Appendix A, and appendix is at the very, very end. So then they can flip through, and then it's like a chunk of pictures and graphs. For my thesis, I had, I think, 10 appendixes. One other research that I've done is I looked at the differences of the heroes and villains and people's perspective on that. So what I did for the focus group is before they started, I gave them pizza and I said, hey, here are 2 pieces of paper and here are a bunch of colors. Draw me a hero and draw me a villain. And I included all of their papers in it, but each hero was Appendix A, Appendix B, and then each villain was Appendix C, Appendix D. Okay, so I had a bunch of appendixes for that paper that I took to a conference. And it really helped because then I could say an Appendix A and Appendix B and I could talk about it without all the pictures being in there. I could constantly reference it. In the end, they can just flip through all the pictures to say, Appendix A, hero. You know, and they can flip through all the heroes. Okay? Now, if you have any more questions, you can always go to Purdue OWL and do APA. Here's the exact link to it, so just copy and paste this. I also have a link already up on the online classroom that you can just click on and it should send you right there. But if it's not working, you can go here, or you can Google Purdue OWL APA. It gives you a lot of great stuff. It gives you more sample papers. It gives you more examples. It helps you with references, and it's great. If you are doing APA a lot, if you're in a field of doing something with APA, then there's a book called American Psychology Association. That's the APA book. That's what APA stands for. Definitely use that and flip through it. It has helped me, and it got me through my graduate school. So if you're going to get into something like that, I recommend getting the book. It's not too expensive, and it's so helpful. If you have any questions on how to do this, I understand when you're first doing it, it's very challenging. I became pretty good at it throughout my master's degree. So if you're having challenges, email me and let me know, and we can do that. But if you don't have any questions, then just keep on doing with APA. Make sure you're doing it right. At least get the basics out. And if you mess up here or there on citations, we will work through it. Realize if you forget a period in a citation, you're not going to I'm not gonna call the cops on you, we're just gonna work through it. Okay, but if you're not citing anything, you're just copying and pasting the link, that's when you're going to get a lot of points deducted because you're not doing citations correctly, and that's actually against the law. Okay, because you're not even doing even MLA or Chicago or anything, that's actually against the law. So make sure you at least attempt to do this. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, have a great day. Bye, guys. And it's not, stop.